The Pixel Fold finally completes the vision and the first set of the Google Pixel ecosphere. So over the last year, we've had a lot of exciting things happen. We've had the Pixel Watch, we've had the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro, the 7a, the tablet, and now the foldable. So we've been looking at this roadmap for a very, very long time. We've been waiting for the folding Pixel phone for years. We've waited for the Pixel Watch for years. And finally, they're all here. You can buy them. You can use them if you want. I've been using this for a week now, and it's been mostly an enjoyable experience. I made a video with most of the complaints that I had the other day, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about where we're looking at with the Pixel roadmap in the future. So we finally got everything, right? We've got the tablet, the watch, all the accessories that you could want, the earbuds, the Pro earbuds, and for the longest time it was, okay, Pixel phone and then like the A series. So we went from Pixel 5, which everybody was hating on because it had a Snapdragon 765. It was kind of a mid-tier phone, no longer like a flagship, but that's because Google was working on their Tensor project. So this is a second iteration of the Tensor, and it kind of makes sense. It kind of frustrates me in some ways because I don't like the fact that we have a Tensor G2 in a $400 Pixel 7a, and we have a Tensor G2 in a $1799 phone, right? So yeah, that's not what I really expected, because I don't think most people, somebody made an argument to me and said, well, what if it was Apple? Like, well, I would be very happy with an A15 in every Google product, right? Because the A15 is an amazing chipset that Android keeps trying to keep up with and has a hard time getting there. So I'm a little disappointed it doesn't have the Tensor G3, but the entire ecosphere, I mean, the Pixel 7, the 7a, the 7 Pro, the tablet, it's all running on the Tensor G2. So that helps them, I guess, in some areas get cost down. I don't think it really helped get cost down here. Google spent a lot of money, not so much on the chipset, but on this hinge and the design, the screen, making this foldable phone. It's very expensive, $1,799. I think if we said, okay, Google is going to have a foldable phone in 2 years and it's going to cost $1,800, if we said that in 2021, I think most people would be like, nah, you're crazy. Especially after what we've seen with the Google Pixel phones. You know, $599, $799, $899, all these really affordable prices for the premium level hardware. And of course, the camera sophistication and all that stuff. Newer cameras, we're not using 3, 4, 5-year-old primary cameras anymore. And well, by and large, I think it's been received pretty well. I mean, there's been some hiccups and some bumps along the way, of course. I mean, we still haven't been getting regular first Monday of the month updates. Yesterday was the first Monday of July, and we didn't get the update. And I was thinking about making a video about it, but I get really kind of tired about saying, well, Google missed the update date again. And I know some people say, well, they never put it in stone. Well, if you do something regularly for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden you just stop doing it, it's really hard to say, well, that's not what the schedule is. The schedule is the first Monday of the month. And they even did it 2 months ago. I praised them for it. I was like, hey, they got it on the first day of the month, or maybe it was even June. I don't know. I've slept a lot since then, but no, it wasn't June. June was like, it was May. So yeah, we're still waiting on the very first update for Android 13 on the Google Pixel Fold, on the Pixel tablet. Android 14 should be right around the corner. I think we're going to get it in August, which would be great. Maybe it's into July, August, but either way, it's on the horizon, and that will be the next step for the platform. So we'll get our first Android update, some software update stuff in here. Hopefully it fixes some of the battery life. Like, I'm really not very excited about the battery life on here. I'm getting about 4.5 hours of screen on time with about 20% battery left, only using the front screen. And I wanted to test that. I wanted to see, okay, what kind of battery life would I get if I only used the front screen for a day or two? And I tested it for 2 days, consistently about 4.5 hours screen on time. That's bad. That's really bad. I mean, it'll get worse, and it has gotten worse with using the interior screen because, well, it's a much larger screen. A lot more brightness, a lot more pixels it has to illuminate and things like that. So, yeah, battery life, I was hoping it would be better, but so far, it doesn't seem to be too great. And that's something that's really important in a phone like this. You want some good battery life. I hope that Android 14 can make that better. I hope this next update does because, well, quite frankly, there were a lot of people reporting poorer battery life and more heating issues because of the June update. So that it kind of like, this is like maybe a State of the Union address when it comes to Google Pixel. Like, the hardware has kind of taken up a notch. The software is kind of stabilized, but there's still these little idiosyncrasies here and there, these little inconsistencies, these little quirks when it comes to the software, when it comes to reliability, when it comes to showing up on time, and just little head scratching moments. And Google needs to remove those head scratching moments from their game plan for the next year, because that's what's keeping them from taking that next step. Also, I think they should up it to 4 years of operating system updates instead of 3, so that way they could at least say they're on par with Google and with, sorry, not Google, with Samsung and with OnePlus. They're doing some good things. And when you take a look at competition, that's the biggest thing. Google has brought serious competition. And I made so many videos about the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 7 series saying these are great value. And the Tensor G2 is, I think, a really good chip at a $500-600 price point, even an $800 price point. I'm not too enthusiastic about it at an $1,800 price point, but you get the picture. They're making some strides. It shows marked progress from last year with the Google Tensor 1 series that we have the Pixel 6s. So I like kind of where we're headed with this direction. Hopefully the Google Tensor 3 can take things to the next level, and then that will probably lay out the roadmap for 2024. Because we're going to start off the end of 2023 with the Pixel 8, the 8 Pro, which I've seen some renders. Those look pretty nice. That'll have the Tensor G3. Imagine, if you will, a Pixel 8a next year with a Tensor G3. That's going to be pretty special. I'll still complain it's probably $500, but it'll be pretty special, right? So I think that there's a good roadmap here. I think that Google can expound on this and elaborate, and they can do some good things. They've shown like flares of brilliance over the last couple of years when they're not stepping over their own shoestrings. But so far, I mean, I've been enjoying using the phone. I think Google's done a lot of good things here, especially for our first device. If you look back at the first device that Samsung made, it had a lot of catastrophic failure issues, had to be like CanX, which, that's military term for canceled, and they had to push it back to August, which is how we ended up with the fall release cycle. It was originally supposed to come out, it came out in April, and then all those like YouTube guys and tech reviewers were pulling that screen layer off and destroying the front of their phone. So yeah, we're a far cry from that. But you also have to look at it and go, well, this is Samsung's 5th generation. Samsung helped design and create some of this stuff. It's like half of a Samsung phone, really. So yeah, there are some considerations I think we need to take there and look at it, place some context around it and frame it. But this was the missing link in all of it. We've been waiting for this for years. Apparently there was different models, or there was 2 different versions that they were looking at, and this is the one that won out. And for good reasons. I mean, there's a lot of good things here. There's other things I'm not crazy about. You can watch my other videos on that. My full review will be out in probably about a week, just because I got to use this sucker, right? And I got to test it. And that's part of this. I can't just take it out of the box, use it for a day, and be like, all right, guys, here's my Google Pixel Fold review. I got to test the camera. I got to test the battery life. That's one of the reasons I don't really talk about battery life till after the first week, because I got to wait for the adaptive brightness to kick in. The adaptive battery, and that will give me the best, most optimized battery for my experience. So there's just a lot of things that go into using a phone, testing it out, and saying, okay, how's the screen? How's the typing experience? How's the app experience? How's the battery life? Things like that. And there have been some really nice surprises in here, and there's also been a few frustrating things, like the fact there's no S Pen support, or no stylus support. The S Pen is Samsung, and I wish that it did. I wish that Google would have made like a Google Pencil. I have my Microsoft Surface Duo 2. I use my Surface Pencil with that. I have my Galaxy Fold 4. I use my S Pen with that. Foldable phones, and taking advantage of this big screen on the inside, I really feel like there needs to be some stylus stuff going on here, right? So anyway, final part of the roadmap for 2022-2023 year is here. What do you think? Like, what are your impressions? I mean, I know you guys have watched a lot of videos. You've watched a lot of my videos. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section and see what you think about it. You think Google did a good job? You think they did a bad job? You think there's room for improvement? And did you buy one? I'm curious about that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. It's just something I wanted to talk about, because it's kind of like this is the big cornerstone and the final piece that kind of holds everything together in the Google ecosphere, and as it's built out and moving forward into the end of this year as we go into everything else. But I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it exists. I'm really a big fan of competition in any part of the market, and the foldables sorely need it here in the US. So, as they say, strike hard, strike fast, no mercy. I think they got some of it right. So that's all I've got here. If you have any questions or comments, please, of course, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you did, I'd ask that you please hit the like and the subscribe button if you're interested, and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Have a happy, wonderful Independence Day, 4th of July. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.